You think power shapes movement. It doesn't. Movement survives power. Power disappears. Movement remains. And most systems are built on paths older than the structures controlling them. You think power creates movement. It doesn't. Movement exists before power, and it survives long after power disappears. This is ACHRONIC, a long-form documentary series about power, geography, and time. Not events, not heroes, not chronology, structures that outlast empires. What appears dominant is usually only what temporarily controls movement. Routes, pressure, flow, geographic continuity. These exist before structures organize around them. Power does not invent movement. It concentrates around movement that already exists. This is why power repeatedly forms in the same regions. Not because systems remember the past, because movement remembers the terrain. The paths remain. The distances remain. The bottlenecks remain. Routes survive the systems built around them, and systems reorganize around those paths again. Power looks permanent while it controls flow, but flow is older than power and more persistent. Empires disappear, movement remains. Control changes shape. Movement continues underneath it. This is why collapse rarely erases structure completely. The visible structure disappears, but the underlying movement survives. Routes continue, pressure continues, exchange continues. Only the system organizing them changes. This is where perception fails, because people confuse systems with the forces sustaining them. But systems are temporary organizations of deeper patterns. Movement is one of those patterns. It survives ideology. It survives borders. It survives institutions. Because movement is not symbolic. It is structural. Pressure creates it. Geography shapes it. Constraint redirects it. And once movement stabilizes through a region, systems begin forming around it. Not the opposite. Power follows movement more often than movement follows power. This is why dominant systems repeatedly emerge around the same corridors. Not because history repeats itself mechanically, because geography continuously concentrates movement into similar structures. And wherever movement concentrates, control eventually follows. This creates the illusion that power determines geography. But geography was already shaping movement long before power arrived. Power occupies paths it did not create. And once movement shifts, power begins losing coherence. Not immediately, structurally. At first, the system still appears sovereign. The borders remain. The institutions remain. The symbols remain. But movement has already shifted elsewhere. Trade reorganizes. Pressure reorganizes. Coordination reorganizes. And once movement reorganizes, power slowly loses relevance underneath visible order. Not because authority disappeared, because alignment disappeared first. This is why systems often misread their own stability. They measure symbols. Instead of movement, they measure institutions. Instead of directional pressure moving through the structure itself. This is why systems often appear strongest shortly before fragmentation begins. Because visibility remains concentrated even while alignment disappears underneath it. Power continues projecting stability, but movement has already started leaving. The map still looks connected, but the flow underneath it has already changed direction. This is the hidden instability inside dominant systems. Power depends on forces older than itself, forces it does not create, forces it cannot permanently contain. Movement is one of those forces. It adapts faster than institutions, faster than borders, faster than systems built to organize it, because movement does not need permanence. only direction, and direction changes continuously under pressure. This is why no structure controls movement forever. It only channels it temporarily. Over time, movement reorganizes around new constraints, new efficiencies, new pressures, new alignments. And once enough movement shifts, power reorganizes around it again. Not by choice, by necessity. This is why the same corridors repeatedly return to relevance across centuries. Not because history loops mechanically, because movement continuously concentrates around geographic efficiency. And wherever movement concentrates long enough, systems begin forming around it again. Infrastructure follows movement. Coordination follows movement. Control follows movement. But movement itself remains older than every structure attempting to organize it. Movement survives every system built around it. That is why dominant systems eventually become fragile once movement begins reorganizing elsewhere. The institutions may remain visible, the symbols may remain visible, but visible continuity does not guarantee structural alignment underneath it. Because systems survive through movement, and once movement leaves, the structure slowly loses coherence from inside itself. Not dramatically, structurally. This is why movement survives power, because movement is not generated by systems. Systems emerge from movement, and when systems disappear, movement continues underneath them. Quietly, persistently, structurally. Power disappears. Movement remains.